Welcome to Homestead Reptile. I'm trying something a little new today. So if you enjoy watching me do poultry chores, chicken and goose chores, tell me if you appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that. I normally talk to you guys about crested geckos, budget builds, and anything to do with reptiles mostly, but I also have a passion for chicken and geese. Geese are super intelligent. So what I'm doing here is, this is a deep cleaning. So I'm doing a deep clean of their deep litter bedding they have in here. So throwing it all out into their run, and they can scrape it up and make it into compost, and then eventually that will go out into the garden bed. But for now, just get rid of all of this. They're going to get some fresh stuff in, and you'll notice there's a little bit of a funky contraption around their nesting boxes. So the geese live with the chickens, and the geese, they're devious little goose minds, have figured out when the chickens sing their egg song. A lot of chickens sing when they lay an egg. They go purr, 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 purr. That's the exact sound they kind of sound like. So when they make that noise, there's one goose that will run up and check if there's an egg. Then that one goose calls her goose brethren to come through and attack the egg. They pull it out of the nest and they eat it. There was a goose scout at the entrance of the door to make sure no humans were coming to collect the eggs. When a person came in to collect the eggs, all the geese would run, and I mean run with their fat little chunky butts out of the coop and hide. They're devious. Geese are a lot smarter than people give them credit. They're actually extremely intelligent. But besides my little bit of a goose rant, I love my geese. They're something. When you're cleaning a coop like this, especially a walk-in coop, and this coop is a decent-sized coop, you need to wear a mask. There's a lot of dust in the air. You can pick some stuff up. There's a bit of ammonia. Toys are pooping in it. You try to not allow the ammonia levels to build up that high. This wasn't too bad, but it was time for it to get a cleaning. So you need to wear a mask and get in there and scrape. And it took me, to do everything realistically, it did take me about 45 minutes. And this is extremely sped up. So I'm putting in fresh bedding here. Scrape, scrape, scrape. So I actually didn't film the third amount of bedding that went in here. So I had some corn cob bedding that I also put in to fluff it up a tad bit. But they have their nesting boxes, their perches, and their other perches. We're going to be putting in some new perches a little later to stop them from sleeping in their nesting boxes, because we're having a problem with nesting box sleeping, and we just don't want that. There's a reason why you don't want them to sleep in their nesting boxes. So if they make a habit of sleeping in their nesting boxes, they poop in their nesting boxes. It can make your eggs dirty. But besides that, we just don't want them to sleep in there for that reason. We'll be putting up some more perches. So we have currently 17 hens, I believe. We have, I think we have at least 17 hens. We have a variety of breeds. So we have American breasts. We have Rhode Island Reds. We have silver-laced Wyandottes. We have black Australorps. We have a Jersey Giant. Silkies. I think variety of different types of green egg-laying hens and blue egg-laying hens. Am I missing someone? Oh, buff Brahmas. We have buff Brahmas. And I'm sure I'm missing a few breeds, but that's what comes off the top of my head. We also have some geese. So we have Emdens. Those are the solid white geese. And we have a Toulouse, which is the gray goose. So what I'm doing here is just scraping the stuff so it's not so piled up. I'm not going to get really into it, just because the chickens will scrape things wherever they want to. They're great little tractors for that. Those little legs are constantly working. And one thing you need to keep in mind with chickens, especially if you get a heritage breed varieties that are very rangy and enjoy moving and stretching their legs and looking around their environment and pecking at stuff, they need a little bit more space than sedentary breeds. They need the activity level of more space. They're very curious, and they just don't do well being cramped up all the time. they do much better when you allow them to have more access to a larger space. So these guys have access to the outside. I move their green pasture around every once in a while, so it's still somewhat fenced in, but I move it every couple of days to every couple of weeks. It depends on how aggressively they've pecked the grass down, but I like to allow them to have access to that green space. It's good for them, it's good exercise, and it cuts down on the feed price because they can hunt for grasshoppers, eat the different grasses, clovers, and a bunch of other stuff that is in the grass. And our field is a pretty good field. It's a great mixed field of some pretty good grasses and vegetation. So I'm going to be moving back in their water. So the geese have their goose water right there. That is to allow them to dip their whole heads in the water and clean their nasal passages out. Then we also have the chicken water, and then we also have the goose pool, so the geese can clean their legs, clean their feathers, and it's just goose entertainment. Your geese need to be kept entertained. Chickens are kind of dumb. They are. I love my chickens, but they're dumb. But geese are the true geniuses. I would almost put geese at the level of certain less intelligent parrots. They're extremely curious about their environment. They're suspicious of new things. They test things with their beaks, and they play with things, and they torment things. They are massive bullies. Geese are bullies. They are. They get moody during this time of the year. Our geese, sadly, are laying eggs, so they're not as friendly as they used to be. They're not as, I want you to be around me, hold me. They've just been moody mooders right now. They've been moody, and I'm a little sad about that because I absolutely love my geese, even though right now they're giving me the cold shoulder and biting me occasionally. Now, geese are actually extremely strong. Geese, well, these domestic varieties of geese are actually pretty big. Our Toulouse probably weighs like 20 pounds, and the Emdens probably weigh like 23 pounds. They're big, they're heavy, and they're just massive. My largest Emden goose, our male, James, will actually come up to above my knee. I mean, I'm short, 4'9", but this guy is massive. They're like one of the tallest species of goose. I think the maximum height is like, what, 3 feet? Standing straight up? I'm not 100% sure. I think it was that. But don't quote me on that. But I know they are like one of the tallest species of goose. Not the heaviest body, but the tallest. They're big. They're bosses of the coop. They boss the chickens around. Not too bad where they're actually truly aggressive towards the chickens. They don't truly pick on them. Now, they will nibble a feather off here or there, or nibble a tail feather off. But we're planning to actually move them to their own place, so they pick on the chickens a little less. And we don't have to guard the eggs as aggressively, because once they figured out eggs are delicious, they are egg thieves. They are massive egg thieves, and we didn't know what was going on with them for a very long time until we accidentally stumbled on their genius little egg thief plan. And like I said, they are so intelligent. Right now they're looking at the camera because I've never brought this camera in here with them. Maybe once or twice. I don't do it very often, and they're keeping away from it. They're staring at it. Not like the chickens who are like, we're just doing chicken stuff. And they're just super, super suspicious. They're suspicious of the rakes as well. They don't know what's going up with them, and they're honking at them. They're very just upset with the rakes, with the camera, with the tripod. They're just so suspicious of everything. But I absolutely love them. If you have the opportunity to ever really get geese, and you have the space for geese, I really recommend it, especially if you have a lot of grass and a big fieldy area. Geese are the equivalent to sheep. Their diet is mostly grass. Now, they'll eat a little animal protein here or there, but a good goose diet is actually mostly grass. There's a difference between geese that are eating more of a protein-based feed and geese that are eating a natural grass feed, so their feces is completely different. A goose that's eating a grass-based feed is just healthier. Now, during different parts of the year, they do want different, sources of food. Like when they're laying eggs or molting, they want more protein. But when they're just at a normal metabolic rate where there's nothing different really going on with them. They want that grass-based diet, and you should really allow them to have that. So this is their pool. Cleaned it as best as I could, and you know, they're gonna get it dirty soon enough. I'm not gonna be too upset that I dropped a piece of mud in there, because they're just gonna get it dirty. It's not for them to drink. They have clean, unmuddy, unfeathered water. I've never actually seen the chickens dip their little toes in this water. It's for the geese, and the geese absolutely love it, like I said. And keeping chickens and poultry is just such a privilege if you can do it. So, free eggs. I have access to high quality eggs. I have access to eventually high quality meat birds in the future. That's what the American breasts are for. And I can also take this aspect of chicken and goose keeping into my reptiles. I have certain reptiles that can eat chicken hearts, livers, and I'm going to be getting, hopefully in the future, quail, because quail would also be a fantastic nutritional food for myself, for my other animals, and I can take care of them properly. Eggs, maybe later down the road I might want to keep an egg-eating snake, and I have access to high-quality eggs. But it's lovely to keep them. It's so much fun. They all have their own personalities, and I enjoy the fact that I'm giving them a good life. They're being well cared for, and even when the hens are older, at 7, if they get to that age, and they're laying like an egg a week or not laying at all, we're keeping them forever. They're forever here at the homestead. They will just have different jobs. It's like this one girl right here is being a great mulcher. So we can set them in the garden bed and they can mulch things up. And sometimes those older hens still want to lay eggs and still want to be broody. Those older hens might be fantastic brooders and baby raisers until the day they die. And then here we have the troop of geese who are very, very suspicious. Like I said, they are tall. If you're scared of geese and you're terrified of Canadian geese, these guys are double the size of Canadian geese. But after owning them and raising them from chicks to now, my fear of geese are gone. I was always a little bit skittish of Canadian geese. I've had them chase me before. They're, aggressive. But after dealing with geese that are twice the size, bite much harder, and can wing slap the poop out of you when they're really angry and they don't want anything to do with you, I'm not afraid of them anymore. The bites don't hurt that bad. They can make you bleed. And here they are being suspicious of the camera. I'm also chirping back to them to get them to come over a little closer. So I make their little goose noise back to them, and you can see they're tilting their head. They're looking around, and they're thinking about coming over, but not quite brave enough because this camera is new, and it could be dangerous to the flock, and they're suspicious of it. They're just suspicious, but they're also obstinate. So you can see them tilting their head back, looking at me, and they're thinking about coming over to me. But they're like, meh, don't know about this. And here we go, biting the rake. Like I said, they are curious about everything. I feel like I should get them some more activity stuff to do. Getting them out in the grass. If I throw sticks in there, they bite them and they fling them around. You can put like little toys in there, and they destroy a lot of stuff. They do destroy stuff. So this waterer is working well for now, but we've had previous waterers for chickens, and they've just like bitten them up, knocked them over, and just destroyed them. Getting a sip of water, and I absolutely love the way they drink it. The little log necks go in the water, put them up, sip the water. It's just so cute. You can see how big those wings are. They're very big. They're very, very powerful animals. I think geese are one of the largest common domesticated poultry you can get. So I believe the majority of geese are larger than your heritage breed turkeys. Not the, basically, steroid-produced Thanksgiving turkeys that you see in the Walmart freezer. But they are one of the larger ones. And now giving them a little dinner. So this is their dinner, their mash, and they absolutely love their mash. They prefer mash over their dry feed. You can see them surrounding their mash compared to the dry feed is right next to them and still full. But we're just finishing off the mash for the day. And I add different things into this mash. So I've been adding some vitamin E and some different multivitamins because I don't know what's going on with the feed lately, but the feed we've been getting seems to be lacking vitamin E and some other vitamins. I've been seeing some vitamin deficiencies. I don't know what's going on, so we picked up some extra vitamins to put into their feed. And another thing, if you're going to keep poultry, you need to have a supplies of things in case they get injured, and they will get injured. It's like they'll either pick at each other, cut a blood feather, cut themselves, have a deficiency, get into something that makes them really sick, just get what other chicken disease, worms, coccidia. You need to have this stuff on hand. And they're right now in rural areas, vets are like gold. Rural vets that work with livestock are gold. They are leaving en masse. I mean, I'm going into the vet field, but vet tech field. But I know there's not many vets out there anymore, especially vets that work in livestock. Like and subscribe.